Welcome to the game.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're just going to start doing some Dead Man's Hand painting. I'm working on my Outlaws that came with the starter box, which you saw in the unboxing, and then I'm going to get to the Lawmen. I started on a couple just to kind of get a feel for how they painted, and they came out pretty well. They're taking about 30-ish minutes apart, and we'll give you a quick peek at those real quick. Here's one, and then here's our other Outlaw. And so not really knowing what colors I wanted to do, etc., kind of following the pictures online. And we're going to go ahead and do this guy here. 2 pistols. Of course, you know, you got the standard jacket covers, or his coat covers the big part. He does have an ascot in here with a little bit of the undershirt that you can see, so we'll probably want to go ahead and start with that. Probably do that white, do the ascot red, do his under the vest, I guess whatever that's called, in blue, maybe ultramarine blue probably. We'll do the coat black. We'll do his pants, probably Agros Dunes, just to kind of break up the dark colors. Skin, of course, we'll do in the normal tanned flesh, barbarian flesh. Beard, I'm not 100% sure yet. Probably want to do make his beard kind of a, I don't know, gray, maybe, not really sure. But, you know, we'll figure it out as we go. And then we have his hat, of course. So, let's give it a shot and see what happens. Okay. So, to start with, let's go ahead and get started with, and we are right at 2 minutes record time. All right. So we always start with our tanned flesh and our barbarian flesh. And that is these 2 guys right here. And then later we'll do the flesh wash to tie that all together. Now there's not a whole lot of flesh to see. So we're going to just a touch of water just to thin that down a tiny bit. And we're going to get his face. Okay, now that the tanned flesh is done, we're going to do the barbarian flesh, and this is kind of just a, almost like a wet dry brush. Where we just, the difference being you don't wipe off all the paint. What we're really trying to do is just get the highlighted parts where the light would catch, and just the raised areas. If you brush it very lightly, like right here across the fingers. You don't want to get it down in there, down into all the recesses. Just want to give it that 2-tone contrast. When we add the flesh wash later, it will really make the flesh look good. So it might look a little blotchy to begin with. Just remember, we're going for speed and to get these tabletop ready as quickly as possible. Alright, there we go. Okay, for that tiny little piece of a shirt, we're going to use matte white, and it's really just the collar of the shirt, and it's really high up here. If you didn't paint it and you just painted the color of the ascot, I wouldn't blame you. Painting is probably going to be a mistake anyway, so we'll just see how it goes. Alright, for the vest, we're going to use Ultramarines Blue. And it's just a darker blue that we will use. Alright, so to do the ascot, we're going to use Flesh Terror's Red, just to break it up. This guy's rather well dressed. He's probably like the leader of the Outlaws, you know. That's one neat thing about it is you build your game, you create your own background, your own story. Alright, for his leather belt and gun pouch, we're going to use snakebite leather. For his pants, Agros Dunes. Okay, why are we pausing? I'm going to use Space Wolf's Gray on his hat, but it has a tendency to separate, and it's going to take him a couple minutes to get this shaken up, so I'll be right back. Okay, there you go. Now, there's no white, we're good and shaken up. I'm going to go ahead and do his hat first. Why switch from what I was going to do? Because the hat band, I think I'm going to do it black. So, rather than having to come back to the black, I'm going to just do the hat first. Alright, next up is gunmetal, because we're going to paint the guns. Alright, since I'm kind of liking the idea of him being the leader of the gang, I figured his gun hilts would probably be more than just the normal brown. We're going to make them ivory, so they would be more expensive. Black Templar, this we're going to cover his coat, and we're going to do the Okay, now to finish off the skin, we're going to use flesh wash, and then to go over the guns, we're going to use a dark tone. And I'm just going to go ahead and do both of those. They're both going to need to be very quick. So I'll just knock both of those out in the same step here. So we'll start with the flesh wash. And everywhere you have his skin, you just want to go over with this wash. This wash will sit down into those recesses. It will pull our two tones that we started with earlier, our barbarian flesh and our tanned flesh. And it'll really just fill in those gaps, pull those two colors together, and really make them look better. Now for our pistols, and the dark wash on the gunmetal just fills in the crevices and just makes that, just kind of breaks up that. You can kind of see it right here. It's just kind of a flat. I don't know how else to describe it. There's no detail. But once you put the dark tone on it, let it run into the recesses and kind of tone it down just a little bit, you can already see that it makes an improvement. On the gun. Okay, I did have to let him dry a little bit. And I also wanted to figure out what I want to do for his beard. So I'm going to try something different. I want his beard to be a little more gray but darker. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Space Wolf's gray for his beard, which is what we did on his hat. And then I'm going to hit it with the dark wash to darken it down. And we'll see how it looks. And if it's terrible, well, we'll start over. But this is kind of our last piece before basing, so I'm going to let that dry. Let's see how it looks. Okay, now that that's pretty much dry, I'm going to go ahead and just hit it very lightly with the dark wash mixed with some water. About 1 to 1. I want to keep the gray, I just want to highlight the recesses. So let's see how this looks. And with that, he is painted. Again, we are sitting right at about 28 minutes, so right at about 30 minutes. And that's been about what they've been so far. I haven't done the bases yet, haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do. Probably just sand and some desert grass for that. But I will get him based and we'll see what it looks like. But there you go. I think the beard came out really good. He looks much more distinguished than our other Outlaws. And all right, let's get him based, and we'll be right back. All right, and once we have him on his base, and the base all fixed up, there you go. Again, we are right at 30 minutes, about 28 minutes. And there you go. I mean, you can get really good results with the contrast paints. And there was only a couple of things that weren't contrast, so a good mixture, and you're good to go. And you can get great results without, you know, having to spend hours and hours on a miniature. So again, 3 down, 7 more to go. I hope this helped. I hope you're enjoying this series. As with any of the other videos that I put out, as always, if you would if you'd comment, please like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and if there's any questions, don't hesitate to put those in there. I try to respond as quickly as possible. Yeah, let me know what you think. As always, thanks for watching, and have a great night. Bye-bye now.